crew with the advice of the township engineer as necessary to remove the barriers placed on Fulton Road at its intersection with Oxford Road, State Route 3018, after having the surveyor mark the roadbed as indicated on the plan and resolution.
Well, second.
Does anybody have any comments on this motion?
Will there be an evaluation of the road surface before the barrier is removed?
There will not be a evaluation of the road surface before it's removed. That's why the engineer will be there to evaluate it afterwards.
So once the barrier is removed, will people start to use that road
People will be free to use it
in the condition that it is?
if they choose to.
And there's no desire or interest on the township's part to review the quality of the road surface at this time?
We didn't say anything about that. The township will have every interest
So,
that it needs to have to make sure that road is drivable and passable.
well, I guess what I'm asking is the barrier gonna be removed and then the road fixed, or will the road be fixed and then the barrier removed?
Well, should we fix it over the barrier? Or should we go around the barrier when we fix the road? The barrier has to be removed for the road to be fixed.
I don't, the area that needs work is not affected by the barrier.
Well, the barrier will be removed, and then the road will be tended to. Motion has been made and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna just pass over number 9 for a moment here and move on with, we have a couple of additions to the agenda here. We had number 10, advertising open space tax. So, we'll save that for the end of the meeting. Yeah, we'll hit number 9 then. Keep it in order. All right, number 9, bills for approval. I took a look at the bills. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at anything? Any questions for Susie? Are there any questions from anybody in the audience for Susie on the bills?
Pat, can we put the 2015 library donation on next month's agenda?
All right, seeing none here, I move we pay the bills.
Second.
John, you're not saying to not pay it this
No,
year?
no, I'm talking
Okay,
about next
for the
year's.
next year's.
So we move to second.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right, we have advertising the open space tax. So I would like to, after discussion a little bit in the work session, I would like to make a motion that we have Winnie work on what we need resolution-wise to bring the open space tax down to 0 for the year 2015. That would mean that you'd still have your 1% earned income tax, but 0 open space tax that would be due for the year 2015. Would anybody like to discuss this?
It has to be done by ordinance.
That's a resolution?
Not by resolution.
So I'll make a new motion, but is there any discussion on the table before we make any motion here?
My only comment is that the decision has to be made in our November meeting because I have to do all I have to do by December 1st. Okay.
Any discussion? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we have Winnie work on our ordinance to bring the open space, which is now at 0.125 to 0% for the tax year 2015. Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Aye.
8.5. That's for nay. That's for nay.
Any nays?
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, you said aye. That's why I didn't hear any nays. That's why I just whispered. Next is Barron Road. We have a weight limit issue on Barron Road. Bill, do you have a minute just to explain that again one more time real quick? Like in 3 minutes?
Elk Township has got a hold of me, and there's so many big trucks and tractor trailers coming up from Elton, and actually going from Oxford also, south on Blue Ball Road, and the road's just not built and wide enough for the tractor trailer traffic. And they would like to put a weight limit on there, in which we would have to do the same thing also.
So Elk is asking us to pay half the expense, basically.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. Originally, they had a price that was around 55 to 6,000. Samples done of the road, I guess to justify it.
So they're looking 11 to 12 is what they're estimating.
Yes, yeah, so they did, we would be willing to raise.
Do you know if Elk is already approved their end?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the core samples are on their road, right?
Well, they would probably do both ends, I would assume. We would be closing ours also, so I'm sure they'd have to do both, just to verify that the road is not up to snuff for the heavy trucks.
I'm gonna put a motion on the table, but, I'm gonna put a motion on the table for a little bit more so we don't run into this issue again. Just to put a cap on it. You know, just in case our costs go a little bit above 5,000 to 6,000. So I'm gonna make a motion that, we put a cap cost on the Barron Road weight limit project that we are splitting with Elk Creek at our end, I'm sorry, with Elk Township, at our end at $7,500.
You can read about it. I'll second.
Any comments on this? Yes, sir.
If
Your name, I'm sorry.
Robert Stewart, before you go through all that expense, don't you think it'd be easier just to make no trucks going through there, rather than going through all that? The
Probably,
expense of the engineering fees and all that, just put a sign up, no trucks allowed except for local deliveries.
I think you would probably need some kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but you'd probably need some kind of permit to do that anyways.
I would think so, would you, Wayne?
Yeah, I forget the specifics, but I think that requires engineering, so you have to have, you have to have a reason to do it. And that road ends on road, it's not what might be called a local road, really it is kind of, I don't know whether it works or not. Nice,
The
good suggestion.
reason I'm saying that is because if you put a weight restriction on there, then number one, if a truck comes through there and is overweight, you're gonna have to weigh it to prove that it's overweight. The state police cannot do that. So if a truck comes through there is 10-ton overweight, he's gonna get away with it because they can't weigh him. So what's the use of even having that? If you just ban them all
It's
together.
the same idea of having a speed limit. Do you do 55 on Route 1 or do you do
But
56?
that's easier to with state police.
But it's the same idea. If the state police pull them over, they'll grab them up and down.
They also have public scale.
I mean, we have to do our part to protect them.
I understand that.
Whether it's
but
gonna, you
I
know,
just-
whether there's someone there to uphold it or people are gonna follow it is a different story.
I think I might question. Bill, did you say the total cost is now how much?
Somewhere around $11,000.
And we're offering,
We're not
Well, we're
offering
not
that.
offering, we're offering to split the cost.
what's half of 50?
Not to exceed
Right.
7,000.
We're just not
Right, so
to
if there's
cap.
over 15,000.
Yeah, but I mean, how they can
No, we're not telling them. We're just gonna split it up to 12,000. If it comes back and they say there's
Well, we should work on it, we're splitting.
I just put it in there.
You said that.
Yeah, we're gonna cap it at 75. We're gonna split it with Elk. That was part of the
We're
motion.
split the cost, but we've got no higher than 75.
Right. This way, if it comes back and it's 13,000, we don't have to sit here and go through it again.
It should be 6,000, Roger.
But just in case. Well, there was a motion made and seconded. Mr. Zimbrowski moved and seconded. You did get a second, correct?
Yes, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there are minutes for approval on the table. I know that some people grabbed some copies for last month. I do need to just take a peek at them. I've got a quick glance at them, but you look at the whole thing, so give me just a moment, I'm sorry. that we approve the minutes from August 1st, 2012, make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 12th, 2014 from our regular meeting. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Motion's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We do have some correspondence here. If anybody would like to take a look through, Chester Water Authority, State Police reports, environmental protection, news bulletins from PSATs, Oxford Sewer Authority about their minutes and their meetings. If anybody would like to take a look through correspondence, please do. It's here in the office. Pat has it all week. Recognition of visitors. Would anybody like to be recognized at this time? Yes, sir.
John Sykes. I guess the first question I've got is, I purchased the coast property, as everyone knows, and I'm trying to make something that the township and all the landowners around will be proud of. Clean it up. I'm seeing that it's been getting a lot better. In doing that, I need some help and support from the township. I've reached out to all 5 supervisors. 3 of them have ignored my numerous calls. 1 of them has made an appointment with me and stood me up after changing my Sunday plans. And 1 supervisor, John, did meet me, and it sounded like we were going in the right direction, but that was all shut down. My attorney has tried to put meetings together. I would just like to know, how can I proceed? How can I get the ear of the township to work with me on cleaning up a 50, 70-year-old mess and turning it into a property that's worthwhile to have in the township?
If I may answer that, first, I have received no request from your attorney to set up a meeting, so that's one thing. And secondly,
Winnie,
if
he
all
asked
this,
you on the
you
phone.
don't know me well enough to call me
Okay, Ms. Sebastian.
Mr. Sykes. This,
John Jarvis asked you on the telephone if you would set up a meeting, and you said that would not be helpful. Are you going to deny that?
yes. Okay, Mr. Sykes. A meeting is only available for things that can be discussed by agreement. You have to comply with the township ordinance. This board has no ability to negotiate their ordinances. So far, you have not done that. That's all we're asking you to do. We ask you to submit a stormwater plan. You haven't done that. While you say that your permits were rejected, in fact, we've asked you to submit them properly. You haven't done that. We have asked you to take down the barrier. You haven't done that. You have moved dirt. You have created additional impervious surface. You have not submitted a plan for the stormwater maintenance ordinance that is required to do that. And you are working on the place without, you're doing what you're doing, but the township doesn't know what you're doing because you have not submitted any plans or applications to us.
We did submit plans and they were rejected.
Plan?
Yes.
What kind of plan?
The permit had drawings with it, showing what repairs we were going to do. There was no impervious surface added to the property. I don't know where you're getting that information from.
Very well, then why don't you submit a plan that says the condition of that property as to ground cover, sod, and otherwise is unchanged, and that you have not, in fact, replaced it with reusable tarmac. You have not put any tarmac down.
No.
I see. And you haven't graded anything.
Oh, we graded around the buildings because there was a water problem.
Okay, well, why don't you put all that together then? Just say, this is
That is
exactly what was on the property and nothing has changed. And submit that. Really, all we want you to do is submit the applications and the plans that our ordinance require.
Okay. Secondly, the township has reported twice to the Department of Environmental Protection. Once that we were burning tires to melt asphalt, and secondly, reported my goats to the township. I'd like to understand why why reports have been going to the Department of Environmental Protection for the activities that I've done on the property.
Well,
While you burning tires?
No.
I did.
We had pictures
One
of tires being
one
burned.
tire was inadvertently started, but the fact that you have a picture means it was put out before it finished burning. Not tires, there was one tire that was mistakenly burned.
But you acknowledge that one was burning, so I think that's a reasonable response to your question as to why. So you were burning tires. As to the goats,
We weren't burning tires to melt asphalt.
I never said that. But you were burning a tire.
A tire got burned by mistake.
And then the question as to the goats.
Yes.
No one from the township, I didn't report anything to DEP about this, I wouldn't go to DEP. I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Are they there to clean and raising them?
They're my daughter's pets and they're eating the poison ivy that's around the property.
How many do you have?
There's 3 right now. Okay, so no one from the township has contacted the DEP about the goats?
No,
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other visitors like to be recognized tonight? Yes, sir, Mr. Carey. Please state your name.
Bill Fisher,
Where do you live at?
Wyndham Creek, 141 Granite Drive. I questioned a couple, I guess at the last meeting, there was supposed to be a deadline imposed by the DEP for an update to the Act 537 plan, and I asked at the last meeting, was that deadline going to be met and what was coming out of that, and I was told that was not happening. And then in the bill, it says Act 537. So is that being worked on, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess the other question that we kind of have as a community is there a deadline? Because, I mean, it seems like it was March and then it was kicked down to September. And it seemed like Mark Dunler was actively working to try and come up with a formidable plan, and then we kind of haven't heard anything other than these deadlines once that plan was rejected by the DEP.
As I understand, I really wasn't involved in all that, but I believe that there was originally no deadline, and then when the fact that there was no deadline was questioned, they set one for September 2nd, I think.
And then that wasn't, I was told it wasn't going to be met and it wasn't really being worked on. And now the taxpayers are getting bills for it, so I'm just curious
No,
as to.
there is work being done on it.
Okay.
In terms of the deadline, I believe there was sort of an understanding this is kind of a soft deadline.
That was my impression
And
too.
so I believe that's the.
And URS is the one that's working on that, the bigger engineering firm?
No, I mean, they have done some work on it, yes.
Or you need to sign those.
And then the other question I have is, I know grass cutting, PJ, that was my fault for not, PJ can't be everywhere in 30 million places. So coming into snowfall this year,
I have a letter to contact Mr. Hostetter to get a letter from him as to who's going to.
we as a community are very eager to push off dedication of our community roads to the township too. And we're kind of curious as to what steps we would have to take as Century Oak did to have our roads dedicated and maintained by the township, as we all pay taxes too.
Unfortunately, the problem with the roads in your development.
They're beautiful, they're all
Is that.
done.
Once the township takes them, they're ours, and so what Century 21 did was give us a maintenance guarantee for 18 months. That's all the law allows us to have in terms of length, is 18 months.
We're gonna be at trial by February, so come
But we
February
don't-
2016, so we can fall within that,
Yeah, but we don't know that.
within that 18
And
months.
then there are the risk of those roads having to be torn up because nobody knows what's